Welcome to Shit You Should Wipe podcast with me, Dr. Debbie, your clarity wizard, life coach, and ex-scientist. This is the place for kind humans who want their life to feel as good on the inside as they look on the outside. To achieve their life transition goal and live by design, not by default. Who want to experience personal growth, not personal change, and who want to experience more clarity, joy, and bravery. If you want to know what that means in practice, keep listening. Hello friends, and thank you very much for joining me again. I can't tell you how grateful I am that you're giving me your time. Even if you're like in your car in traffic or commuting on the bus, you could really choose to do anything with that time, like daydreaming or playing on your phone or scrolling social media, and you choose to spend it with me. So for that, I'm very, very grateful. I'm also super excited about today's episode's topic because, as you can imagine, today we're going to talk about clarity. And I like to call myself a clarity wizard, right? And one of the things I currently offer are clarity sessions. And often people come to me because they want to know what their next step is so for those clarity session in a very particular area of their lives. And often they tell me all the options and internal dialogues that they have or that they have had. And what I notice is that usually they've been trying to find the right answer, the, how, the what. And they're actually looking for certainty. And what we do together is we look for clarity. So this is the topic of today's episode: certainty versus clarity. So first, we want to distinguish certainty from clarity. And because I like clarity, I'll put it in a very simple way. Certainty is looking for the answer, whereas clarity is looking for the focus. So it's very much like setting an outcome goal, which is finish line oriented, versus setting a process goal, which is about the journey. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back a few episodes. I think it's episode 5, where I talk about happy goal setting. So there is a similar distinction between certainty and clarity. The first one being certainty is looking for the answer, clarity is looking for the focus. Certainty is also more of an emotional state in which you're trying to avoid uncertainty. You're trying to avoid fear, and you're looking for safety and security. Whereas clarity is a state of mind that results from asking yourself powerful questions that will allow you to know what to do next without knowing every single details or without knowing the exact outcome. Right? Another way to put it is that certainty is trying to figure out the how and the what and maybe even the when clarity is focusing on the why. Okay, we always talk about this question: what, when, how, why. Well, the first 3 ones are about certainty. The last one is about clarity. It's about the why, it's about the purpose, it's about the destination, right? And a last way to look at it and distinguish between certainty and clarity is that certainty is very much past informed. You look at your past and known patterns to try and make a prediction about the future. So you're trying to predict the future based on your past experience. However, if you're trying to get a different outcome, that might not be the soundest thing you can do. And so clarity is much more future oriented. You realize you can't predict the future. Okay? And if you wait to take action, if you wait to know the future, you'll never decide, and you're very likely to delay and miss opportunities. There's there's a saying that goes, planning is guessing. That's what you're trying to do when you're trying to plan from certainty, right? And also, I guess, from clarity. But with clarity, you're focusing on the vision and the why. So I hope that gives you a little bit of clarity on clarity. Clarity is looking for the focus, not the answer. Now, there's different types of clarity. There's actually an infinite number of things you would want clarity on. But there's a few ones I specifically work on with my clients. Typically in the first 3 sessions, we work together when we're planning to work for an extended period of time together. One type of clarity is obviously clarity of goals. So again, if you haven't listened to episode 5, you can go back to that. There's clarity of values. That's very important. I call that your guiding stars, because when you don't have certainty, you can have clarity by knowing the values that are guiding your path, and it becomes much easier to make choices from that place, because you can compare or assess your choice against this value. Is this particular choice in alignment with my 3 top values? In some areas of my life, my top 3 values are family, fun, and freedom. So when I want to do something or start something and I need clarity, I can always go back, like, how does that align with my value of family and what I make it mean? How does that align with my value of fun? Is, this particular thing going to be fun for me or not? And how does that align with my value or my need for freedom? So I call that the guiding stars. And we also get clarity on the why, the vision, the purpose. And I call that the North Star. That is the bright star, that's got to guide you. So that whenever you don't have certainty about the exact path that you're taking, you can always look up at the stars. You look at your North Star, your why you're doing this. In my case, I believe I help my client work on the root cause of their suffering. And if I look more broadly, I help humans, or a small portion of humanity, work on the root cause of their problem, which I believe might lead them to consume less and have less impact on the planet and live happier life. And if there are more people like me that help their portion of humans to live more conscious and happier life, I think we'll all be better. So that's my vision. That's my North Star for my business. And I have my values that serve I as other guiding stars so I can look up and orient myself. Another type of clarity that we work on is clarity of strength. And this is very often underestimated because a lot of us want to do things the way other people have done it because it has worked for them. And so, again, we're leaning on certainty. We're looking at the past and what other people have done and that has worked for them to inform our future choices. But that's not taking in consideration what our strengths are. So it's like if you wanted to climb this particular mountain, and let's say a professional climber took one route, and you're trying to climb the mountain the exact same route, but you're not a climber. You're actually maybe a trail runner. You might get to the top of the mountain faster and safer running than climbing. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So now you know the difference between certainty and clarity. You know different types of clarity that in the context of coaching and living a purposeful life might be helpful to you. Now, how do you know when you don't have clarity or when you're lacking clarity? I'm sure a lot of you are very aware of when you are lacking clarity, but just in case, I'll spell out some of them. So when you can't focus, or when you have mental and physical exhaustion, that is a big telltale sign that you're lacking clarity, because it's taking brain power for you to navigate. Or maybe because, to go back to the hiking metaphor, maybe you're trying to go through the bush instead of taking the path that's going to be easier for you, or maybe because you got lost and couldn't see the stars. When you lack clarity, you also lose motivation, interest. You tend to have decreased performances, and some of us can lose sleep. So those are just some of the ways. Or, of course, indecision is also a sign of lack of clarity. So how do you cultivate clarity? Well, as a lot of things in mental health and in general, the first thing is to have your basic needs, we'll go a bit Maslow on this, met. So the first thing is to watch how much sleep you get, what you eat, and how much you exercise. It sounds very basic, but that is true for almost everything. The second thing is, do you actually allocate time or give yourself time to think, or maybe journal if you like that, and ask yourself the why question. Why am I doing this? Why do I want to do this? Why am I trying to make this decision? And recently a client of mine asked me, like, but can you teach me how you get clarity? Because I want to do that in my business with my employees. How do you help people get clarity? And one aspect of that is being able to zoom out, to see the big picture, to see the why, and hold it for people, right? So that you can ask powerful questions and you can ask the right questions for them to figure out the answer. So another way to have clarity is to keep things simple and easy. I say that on my website. I say it all the time. I like simple and easy. and fun. And obviously, another way to have clarity is to ask for help, is to get help. Sometimes talking it out with a friend can be helpful, and sometimes you need a professional clarity wizard like yours truly to help you gain that clarity. Yeah, let me check. So we've covered the difference between certainty and clarity. We've talked about different types of clarity. We've talked about how to know when you lack clarity and how to gain more clarity. Yes, the last thing that I wanted to say is that if you think that you don't have time to gain clarity, if you don't have time for thinking, it is exactly why you need to take time for it. Right? This is the I don't know how you say it in English, but in French we would say the snail biting its tail. The very thing, and it's true for it's true for coaching in general. If you think you don't have time for coaching, this is exactly why you need coaching. So if you think you don't have time to get clear on a particular issue, it is exactly why you need to take that time to clarify that issue. That's it for me today. Again, thank you very much for spending that time with me. I hope you've gained clarity on clarity and that I'll see you again or be with you again next week. Bye. And if you want fresh wipes and actionable tips every single week in your inbox, you better get on my email list. It's called the Brain Wipes. Also, make sure to download The Mental Offload. It's my free ebook to learn how to start wiping things off your to-do list. It's been known to help people save precious time and energy. It's also been called what everybody's psychic butthole needs.